Welcome, everyone. Welcome to I Am Reality, where you are the star and the story of your reality. I am Mitch.
And I'm Stefania.
And I'm Rick.
And today we have a very special guest star, Rick Walker, who I've known for a few years. I am so excited to have him a part of the show today. He is really amazing because he truly performed a miracle. He's truly performed a miracle. And the miracle is I Am Perfect Health. That's the name of this episode. And Rick's going to take us through his journey of overcoming many obstacles in his life, but the obstacles are really opportunities. They really transformed into opportunities in his life because now he's built up faith. He's built up self-image. He's learned how to believe in himself, and he's transcended this in many other parts of his life. I've known Rick, like I said, for over maybe 2, 3 years now, and I can't wait for him to tell you his story. Steph, what do you think of this episode?
I'm so happy. I'm so grateful you're here, Rick. I'm so grateful that Mitch knows you for so long and I get to hear your story. Guys, you're in for an amazing treat. I've heard the story briefly earlier today. I'm jumping out of my seat. You want to watch this episode. You're going to be so restored in faith and really faith in your health, faith in your life, faith in your family. And this is what this channel is all about. So thank you for coming, Rick.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Rick, let's kick this off. Why don't you start? Obviously, there's a lot to your story, but let's you obviously you share what you like and start from how this started for you. Briefly, maybe your background, how you learned, your basically your philosophy, how you came into this, and then take us through how this took off for you.
Okay. I guess regarding my background, I was a standard corporate guy trying to climb the corporate ladder. I ended up at Microsoft. And my wife passed away in 2013 and the wheels fell off my life. And at that point, I started looking at things differently. And all of a sudden, one day, things that I held as true that I had been taught in my lifetime all of a sudden unraveled. And I started looking at things and understanding I've been told one thing and it's really not true. And which is beautiful. It's exciting when you discover magic is real. It's like your little kid. I mean, it's just like Harry Potter. And so I started at that point, deep diving down every rabbit hole I could find about things that tell us about our true power that have been, intentionally, in some cases, hidden from us. Not to be, not that we're a threat. I think with this, if everything's based on love, then why would there be a threat? So I, studied this from different sources over, 10-year period. And I struggled with my sort of story has been lack and fear, and I've been very successful and I've had monetary success. When I lost that, I get, created more and more panic about how am I going to get that back? Well, that just reverberated and kept making it worse and worse and worse for my experience. And the interesting thing is, as I was having fear about that, I didn't realize that my mind was being correctly programmed for this philosophy on how things tend to operate with your belief system. And so it didn't occur to me that maybe it wasn't coming to fruition in one area of life that I was concerned about. One place where I wasn't really focused at all just seamlessly came together when I got really ill. And in January 2024, I contracted myocarditis. Interestingly, at the gym that I turned my life around at, I went to bed one night and had a fever and didn't understand. Didn't have like flu symptoms, but I felt pretty awful. And then over the next couple of weeks, I would lay down to go to bed. And all of a sudden, I couldn't catch my breath laying down in bed. And that was really concerning. And I've always been an athlete, so it didn't make sense. And then finally, I relented and I'd been pushing up and went to the hospital. And they told me first they thought I had a heart attack because I had I guess some hormone or something that released in my blood system that tells me said there was crisis with my heart. And then after I had what's it called, a nuclear stress test, they said that my heart had gone into failure and my ejection fraction for my left ventricle, which is how they measure as blood leaves your heart, had dropped to 20% from which it should be at 55%. And it was a serious drop. There were like different stages and then they classified me as a heart failure patient at 58 years old. And then told me I was stage D, which was, short life expectancy. I would need help. I wouldn't, would need to be on medications the rest of my life. And it was a pretty scary time. And it was that 10 days or 7 or 8 days, I guess I was in the intensive care unit talking to my wife. And she said, I think you created this.
Hmm.
And we started looking at things and looking back at my own life and maybe things regarding self-worth and childhood trauma and things like that, that were I was self-sabotaging my life, and I couldn't see that the power that I had would actually reach into my health and sabotage me that way. And I grew through that and got out of the hospital, and I think I had to come back in 3 months. Was going back regularly, but I had to come back to have a nuclear stress test again in 3 months. And they didn't give me much hope that it was gonna improve much. They'd hope maybe it would rebound to, like, 35% or whatever. And I went back in after 3 months. Sorry, I take 3 months, it was 4 months. It was back to 55%. And then I went later on, and which is back in the normal range, and it even became stronger than that. I don't know what the last number was. Um, what happened to me when I remember I had to go to get my prescription. I remember I got out of the car, and this is when I had been released, and I was slowly trying to get back to health or back to, day-to-day life. It was a struggle for me to walk from my car to the pharmacy in the store. And it occurred to me and something flashed to me. I work out in this gym that has this turf, has this long strip of 25 yards of turf. And on that turf, they have a sled, and you pile weights on it and you push it or pull it. And it's miserable. It's not fun. But something clicked with me and said, if you want to heal yourself, this is how you do it. And I got on there every day and started pushing more and more and more weight and got up to 550 pounds, pushing this thing back and forth on this 25-yard track. And all of a sudden, the last time they checked, I had to go back in. I think it was before we moved here. So it would have been March, probably a year ago. There was no indication of any that I had anything wrong with my heart. But, they take the mindset like once the damage is done, you can't undo the damage. So that's their belief system, doesn't align with mine. And I decided at that time I wasn't going to take any more medications. And they gave me one called Entresto, which is super expensive, $700 a month for the rest of your life, based on a different profile. I didn't have insurance at the time, so I was paying that out of pocket. And it wasn't a financial choice. It was like, I'm not going to put myself in the hands of fear. And so there was 4 different medications I was on, and I kept them. I guess maybe I should really have thrown them away to really make the statement that, I was free of it. But I mean, they're in our medicine cabinet. I don't touch them. I haven't had them in a year. And I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life.
That's great.
I have other things, something else health wise I can sell. I've got an issue with my eye. So I'm going through and realizing, they're going to tell me, fear things about detached retina or whatever like that. And I just know if I apply the same principles as I did as I went through my faith and my belief, my eye's going to miraculously be fine. I have
Hmm.
no worries about it. And
Hmm.
before, I was worried more. And I doom scroll and Google MD and all this different stuff trying to figure things out. And, you know, we're so powerful and I don't have to have that fear anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's such a wonderful story. I mean, you overcame death, really. You had a terminal diagnosis, X number of months to live, and you made it an opportunity, and you basically I think what happened, it sounds from your story, is that a lot of your stress expressed itself in the body over time,
Mhm.
and you kept reacting to that stress and this worry, and that kind of played on probably a lot of cortisol and going through the blood, and then certainly you took that as an opportunity to overcome this in your life, and now it appears that you're almost in reasonably perfect health, would you say?
I mean, I'd say if you compare me against people in my age group, I'd be at the very top couple percent of
Yeah.
fit. Um, yeah, it's interesting you talked about cortisol. And I didn't mention that earlier. I did talk to somebody. There was a Reddit thread about heart failure. I went and found it and was getting support and whatever. And
Yeah.
and this person had the same mindset. Said, "Don't take that crap about the pharmaceuticals." He said, "But do take CoQ10,
Mm.
which affects cortisol levels."
Mhm.
And I've always been super high stress in my life. The
Yeah.
career that I had was extremely high stress. I was traveling the world and working for Microsoft and had my wife was passing away at the time, so I'm trying to
Mhm.
keep a career going while I'm, trying to be there for my family, and it was so bad that I would grind my teeth down, at
Mm.
night. They would give me a mouth guard, and I would chew through it,
Yeah.
and, so this, understanding the how powerful stress can be is a big component of how you have to shift. You
Yes.
have to honor it and let it go, and, you know, they'll find ways to exit.
Yeah, and, I know Steph is, itching to jump in here. Steph, why don't you have plenty to shoot for?
I have so much to say. So In regards to stress, I agree. Like stress is fear, right? Because you're in fight or flight, you're overbearing your body through like your immune system cannot clean out all the stress because you're always running away from something or running towards something. So you can never
Right.
be in the present moment. You're not in your loving essence that you are, that we all are right now. And the cool thing is that once you kind of come into your awareness that everything does work out for us, we don't have to chase and we don't have to run away because reality around us opens up with opportunity without us having to like shake the body into destruction, which is essentially what is happening,
Right.
right? So, what I love about your story is that, it was a nightmare, basically. It was the illusion of a nightmare. And you have
Mm.
all these missiles coming to you, like the doctor's telling you your body doing this. I'm sorry about like the difficult situation with your ex-wife having to go through that, but all of that is like part of the war to your awakening because you're like I don't want to be in this world fighting. And then I think what's so beautiful too is that you meet somebody new that you love and she's basically an angel telling you like, "Hey, take my hand. I think you can get out of this," right?
She is
So
an angel. She's
that's
very
it's
straightforward with me, but she made me see something I wasn't willing to see. Like this happened to me. I didn't cause this. I mean, how could I have caused this? And she was
yeah,
right.
like
And we talked about it recently, and I'm like, my awareness of that's still growing and coming into the picture. But
yeah, yeah, and I think it's like sometimes people get confused when they're like, "Oh, you created this," so then they take guilt and shame around it. But no, it's
Mhm.
just we were unaware, and now we're learning how to walk. That's it. Like we can't blame a baby for stumbling when it doesn't have
Mhm,
strong enough muscles and joints, right?
mhm.
So
Right.
it's just so beautiful that your new partner was that ray of light that was like opening that portal. Hey, it's like, hey, let's go into a better life. And then you decided to put your awareness, your attention, in something that gave you strength. You're like, I'm not going to feel weak. Everything around me is showing weakness. And you're like, I refuse to be weak. So I'm going to do something because I know I'm strong. So now you're pushing like metal, going to the
Right.
gym. And I just love that. I love the rebellious mindset of I don't care what my body's saying. I don't care what the doctors are saying. I don't care. I don't care. Like I'm just going
Right.
to make my new life now. And it's amazing, guys. It's amazing. This is so powerful and it's available to all of us. And I commend you, Rick. I'm really proud of
Mhm.
you.
I need to give a shout out to my wife because we've been together 10 years and she's been my mentor and she's going through the awakening as I have. And she's always been a few steps ahead of me, which is, helps me, down the process. But she's also let me learn my own lessons along the way because you can't teach a lot of this is all done through experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I wanna get into let's peel back the onion or peel back the layers here. So so essentially we have cause and effect. So, your mindset change created your perfect health. So, you going through the journey, it was only signs precede, they don't, signs don't proceed, they follow, but they don't proceed. So,
Right.
everything happened after as cause and effect. So, you know that you were the source, and essentially, Rick, I think you would agree that now you have reference experience. So, you know that since you had cause and effect, that you have reference experience that you're the source. So now you're gonna use it to your
Now I've
advantage.
got muscle memory
Yeah,
and I can take that
exactly.
and apply it to different aspects of my life. And I'm just beginning to do that financially.
Yeah.
That's been a big, and I see that just even in the past few weeks, it's just washed away. The fear that I, have carried for so long is finally washed away. It was
Mhm.
difficult to get to that because, you get people counting on you. So you want to make sure,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's one thing. It's easier to, I guess, if it's just yourself you're dealing with, even health wise. But when it affects other people, that little voice still can play, negatively in the background until you
Yeah.
get to be
Yeah,
quiet.
and speaking of that, that's why I wanna peel back the layers on the negative voice in the background. So, as you're going through the journey and you're hearing that voice, what is it telling you, and how are you able to transcend that? Like, what meaning did you assign to it that you were able to transcend it?
I mean, I'll be honest. I spent my whole life listening, and I was in fight or flight my entire life. I mean, just everything was. I mean, like explained to me, how I'd grind my teeth and stuff. When I finally began to understand the observer effect and really, take those thoughts and what I hear and understand that's not me. So why is that? And then look at it curiously instead of taking it as that's coming at you. That's your whatever that's speaking to yourself. It neutralizes it. If you're looking as an observer and sees it, it has no effect.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are. Don't get me started on that. That's
Well, I think you said it perfectly. You said, "That's not me." I couldn't have said
Mhm.
it better because "that's not me" means that's not love and that's not real. So
And
you could
that's not the
immediate
divine,
what's that?
right? It's not the divine too. It's, like
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
one thing
love,
I'll
the
say real quick, I
divine,
think is like right,
it's all
as
this
we create
it's all one. Mhm.
a
So
big
I
part of oh,
what's that?
sorry, go ahead.
That's
So a
okay.
big part of this is for me is, that chatter would separate me from the divine, and I wouldn't hear that. They come through in synchronicities in ways. That's communicated in different ways, but I
Yeah.
wasn't hearing it. I wasn't seeing these. I wasn't noticing it. When I finally, you know, started being the observer, then things opened up, and like all of a sudden, I could hear and get inspirational things that would never speak to me before. It
Yeah.
was a different voice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and, you talk about stress and you were thinking about how do I treat the stress, but you weren't treating the cause, you were treating the effect. I mean, in terms of what you were thinking, you're thinking that, "Okay, well, I'm getting stressed and I gotta get rid of my stress," but it's really the cause, and the cause is what was true. So, number 1, you said, "That's not me," so you know that that wasn't true. And you also knew that not being in perfect health wasn't really true. It's not really that's not love, so you knew that there was a path to 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 perfect health.
And
I
I
knew it
would
was the a
Yeah.
possible state. It's the ultimate state is perfect health. I mean, that's so we have to
Mhm.
shed layers of things that divert us from that. That's why I kept saying it's disease. It's
Exactly.
I
Steph?
love that. And what I want to add is that it takes a bit of rebelliousness, right? To speak your truth. Like, you know, in your heart that you're loved, you're safe, you're supported, you're valuable, you're perfect now. And the world is telling you otherwise. The illusion, a distorted illusion, tries to challenge you. And we have to be courageous in standing up to ourselves like, no, I don't care what this world is showing me. I am safe, right? And we do that with health, we do that with finances, we do that with our loved ones. And like you, Rick, I can relate that when I first was learning this, I was like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if I do this for myself. Like, I'm at first it seemed a little reckless, from an outsider point of view. I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to go and flow. And then people are like, how are you going to figure this out? And I was like all this magic was showing up in my life, right? But then I started feeling like it was affecting the people I loved because I was like, well, I'm being reckless and it's hurting their emotions. And like they're seeing me this way. And what if my dream, like this dream of like financial stability doesn't reach them? And that's also another part of a distorted illusion because when we see ourselves in prosperity, even if they at first show maybe stress or like confusion, we can continue to purify their reflection to that of stability, of love, understanding, and recognition of our own strength and their strength as well. So I relate to you that was kinda like the last thing for me, like that last thread that I was like, "Oh, I don't wanna hurt those I love," but I was like, "Wait, I can see them prosperous too. I can see them happy and peaceful." So, yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. And how did your family transcend or how did your family react to your perseverance, your giving your faith in yourself? How did they support you? Did they realize that your mindset was so powerful and you really looked at this as, not really being true and, the what kind of challenges and really the theater, right? You had a lot of theater playing out in front of you. How did you transcend the theater? Because the theater is really just not really you and just playing out that way. How did you transcend
Well,
that?
with regard specifically to what I had gone through, Tasha, my wife is, there was nothing there I had to convince. I mean, she understood exactly what I was doing and how, kept supporting me. And I think my kids, they're adult kids mostly, and they're probably even still a little bit concerned that I'm not, following doctor's advice and taking things, but they already have that mindset, but they understand the power that we have and that we don't have to reach outside of ourselves but at the same time, when it came to me and my health, I think it was scary enough for them that they think, maybe have a little insurance, even though it kind of works the opposite of that. It's you let that seep in and all of a sudden, then the issues come back to them. If I start taking that medication, then there's a reason I'm taking the medication. It's that reversal. But, it's not
Yeah.
necessary. It's a waste of time.
Yeah. One more question I have for you, Rick, is the way you built up faith. So, with all this reference experience, did it really reinforce your belief in yourself? So, as your health got better, you got to believe more in yourself. As your thoughts changed, you got to believe in yourself. and that built your faith because you always believe how you feel, and you felt a new way of feeling about yourself. Am I accurate? Did you feel
Mhm.
differently because you were able to feel you believed how you felt, and you knew it was different than what you had before?
I mean, I think I knew the way I felt before was ultimately a lie,
Yeah,
and I was empowering that lie my entire life. Self forgiveness is all part of this process. That's been huge for me, and learning to truly forgive myself. And I think if there's one thing, if you love yourself, everything else falls in place just from that one decision, that one ultimate, really core decision of your life.
right.
Everything, like you said, like you guys, despite you say, it's all about love.
Yeah. Steph, you wanna add
I would
something?
love to talk about how your strength went into your prosperity mindset and how you said that before you used to be maybe more concerned about how things would show up or how bills were going to get paid and how you have a miracle now that most people can't really even imagine is real, but it's very real for you. So if you're open to share that, we would love to
Yeah,
hear
it's
it.
it's okay. I mean, I had two lives. I mean, the life I had before my wife passed away is I was very successful and had a beautiful home in the Seattle area, and all that sort of slowly eroded. And it was all because I was telling myself the dialogue that I'm worried about money. They got the kids and college and all this stuff to worry about. And what finally happened, I guess, for me is when I just relented because I think I wanted to control it. I wanted to say, okay, I want this amount of money to come in to the bank so I can do X. And all of a sudden, it would come in different ways. Maybe not the way I would have wanted, but now it has the same effect. I mean, if your rent is provided for free because of an issue with insurance, it doesn't affect. It's money on the table that I have to worry about. Um, that's been, I've had lots of examples and I'm stubborn. So it takes me a while to get, the full effect of understanding that I'm completely taken care of. And we all are. And it's sad. I live in a town that's kind of economically depressed. And I see people here and I thought, yeah, gosh, there's such an opportunity to take these people and tell them, hey, here's the truth. Gosh, if you knew the truth, your life would be completely different. And, it's because people are hard to change on this. I mean, it's people don't believe it, and they believe in an external force is the only way that's going to change their trajectory. And I don't know. I'm not trying to think of a way of like I like write something and hand it out to people as I see them here, so they understand like you've got the power. It's in you, nowhere else.
Yeah.
But
And speaking of that, you're trying to empower people, like you said, Rick. And I really truly know that this episode will help save a life. And if we can help save a life, that's obviously priceless. And you know, uh, tell us what your thought process is. I know that you realize that it's not really true about certain things because self love is what is the key. So what was your thought process when, let's say, some thought came in saying, "No, this is not. This doesn't look like it's going to work." The doctor said what he said. When thoughts came like that
I
came
mean,
in, how did you respond to that?
I did have one episode where I took a bunch of ibuprofen for something else. I kind of took more than you're supposed to because I had an ache or something that was going on, and that apparently triggered what I'd had before. So I had to go back to the doctor, and then okay, so I understand. There are some things I need to be aware of that can contribute to it, and that sort of shook me a little bit, and it took me to say, "No, this isn't affecting me." I mean, that's when I really just walked away, and that's when I super hammered hard in gym, even more than I'd done before. And I just had a knowing. There wasn't room for a lack of certainty. It was certainty, and I was certain I was okay, and I didn't allow for anything to come in and ever affect that again.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's incredible.
So you simply just didn't allow those thoughts of what wasn't really true,
You can't
or
not
or
allow those thoughts are there, but you understand once again, you're the observer. Is this me? Is this true? Is this
yep,
fact?
yep,
It's like letting clouds pass when you meditate and our thoughts
exactly.
clouds let them dissipate.
So basically, you just weren't giving awareness or giving meaning to things that you didn't prefer. So, like I said, you would
Right.
allow it to pass because they weren't really what you prefer. It wasn't love, essentially. Would you say?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. So, before I pass it back to Steph, I wanted to mention one more thing. So, through this journey, you really, I mean, you had your wife really championing you, but essentially, you were your own best friend. Essentially, you really had to believe in yourself. So, you became your own best friend. The way you talked to yourself, the way you reacted to things, you really developed a relationship with yourself
Right.
through this journey to become, someone that you can trust because love is the only reality. Did you find that about yourself? Did you find that you became your own best friend through the self-love journey?
I did. I think when I go back and look at it, I was sort of hanging on my wife's coattails for 8 years, and I was putting it once again outside of myself for, you know, it was an intellectual agreement instead of something from my heart. And when this event happened, I had another incident in 2019. I was almost died in the hospital from an infection I got in my
Mm,
chest cavity. But that was a different time. I had a different, wasn't this far down the road. I mean, I went the full Western medical thing, and $400,000 later, I'm still alive.
mm,
But not of my money, but the insurance. But
mhm,
this was different. I mean, once I went through this, it was like I was in a very isolated. I don't mean that negatively, but for me to know to deal with this, I was on my own. I couldn't draw on her strength.
yeah.
She knew that I need to walk through this myself, and it's at the point where I realized I love myself for the first time in my
Mm,
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
God, this is key to everything is loving yourself. I
Mm,
can't express that even more.
mm. Steph?
I really love when you mentioned forgiveness, because that is a huge part of it. And for everybody watching, it's so powerful. Forgiveness is such a beautiful tool to let go of all this angst, right?
Yeah,
These like memories from the past, they're not even real, guys. They're just showing you the discomfort that you don't want to experience anymore. So you can focus your attention on what you do prefer. So it's really about forgiving yourself,
yourself.
forgiving yourself, forgiving even the people in your life, whoever that you're carrying a bad memory around,
I've
is
always
they're
had an
just
easy time forgiving people in my life. It's myself that I've really struggled with.
oh, yeah, that's usually also the case. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like forgiving ourselves for acting and behaving, not knowing like the better way at the time. And also everything's just patterns, guys. So like it's not like even if we know better, sometimes your human is just has motor skills that are playing out from what we did or what we saw. And it's funny enough, it's also the best possible thing that could have happened at that moment to take us to our desired
Right.
outcome. So like even if it looks crazy,
Yeah. You may not
that's
like it.
actually yeah, like the mind is not gonna like it sometimes, but even the illusion of the illness that you went through, that was the gift that bloomed into now your dream reality that continues to take shape, right? So it's so beautiful how it plays out.
Yeah.
It's interesting the loops in life that we watch that you ignore and you see. All of a sudden, if you start deconstructing these loops, that's when things get better. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have the health loop going on, and that one's gone. So I still have other loops, so they're quieting down, and I think ultimately you get to the place where you're total peace and happy, and you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the world opens up to you. It really is it can be like that, where you don't know how it's gonna get solved, how the thing is gonna get paid, or how
That's the
you're gonna
Euro
get the
stuff.
clients.
Right.
Mhm.
And then you sit there, it's like, be still and know that you are
Yeah.
loved, safe, and supported because we're not doing it alone. Like, that's the biggest
Mhm.
gift about all this. It's like we think we have to be like this like crazy starving child out here, having to fight for our lives. But it's like, no, guys, just sit
Mhm.
still, sit in the love that you are, and the fruits are gonna come around you. Like it's literally gonna be given to you. It's gonna show up at your door. The person with the answer is gonna show up, and it's just so beautiful to be
Yeah.
alive now.
And tune into what you hear, like reality. I mean, synchronicities may not just be numbers on a license plate. It can be you're hearing a song on the radio that has something you need to like it's saying some
Mhm,
statement that you need to
mhm.
internalize and
100%.
rely
Yeah.
on it all the time.
Yeah, 100%. So Rick, so let's kind of wrap this up and talk about as we wrap up the takeaways from all this, the lessons learned. Do you find that you truly performed a miracle in terms of number one, you changed your mindset to look at things from the love perspective, giving meaning to what you prefer is the only real meaning, and how you performed a miracle by doing that, by changing the way you look at things, by realizing you overcame death in your life simply by what you really performed as a miracle. Do you look at things that way, that you performed a
I do.
miracle?
It absolutely was a miracle, and the miracles happen constantly all day long.
Yep.
You have to look and appreciate and understand, when you see them. It's just so beautiful, and
Yeah.
not having the fear chatter every morning when I wake up, and I'll still get nervous about things, and that's I'm working on that, but yeah, it's a miracle for sure.
Yep, and you're taking back your power, right? You're not surrendering your free will anymore. You're
Right.
actively giving that meaning you prefer, which is really sheer power when you think about it, and that's the performing of a miracle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you nailed it.
Steph, any other questions for Mr. Rick?
When I
Not
was in the
much.
hospital, I was talking to Mitch by text when I was, ICU, and I'm in that bad condition. So he was there right at when it was going on.
Yeah, yeah. Just for our audience, I mean, I was talking regularly to Rick throughout this period, every so often, and I truly loved being a cheerleader. Wherever he needed to overcome this illusion of not love, of not reality, which it just was simply an opportunity for Rick to take that obstacle and to transcend it in that moment. He almost had to really get to that point in his life before he realized there was really no other way other than to be as I am,
Right.
which is love, and look
Yeah.
at things from that perspective.
Your peaceful tone really went a long way,
Mm,
and I'm grateful to you.
I am
That's
grateful to you.
It's It's because he knows, like, when Mitch speaks, he knows from the heart that this is
Yeah.
the truth. And that's what I love, that we are all sharing our messages, because this isn't like a gimmick. We're not trying to like
No.
convince anyone. We're speaking our lives. We're sharing our lives. We went through this ourselves, guys. So just know that if you're going through something, the circumstances don't matter. We are sharing this from the heart because we want to see you thrive. We know you can do it, and with that, we can go into a little meditation of like perfect health. And just to remind you guys, because you're perfect right now, now, not when it's happening right now. And you get to decide. And if you want, you can close your eyes or leave them
Mm,
open. And I just want everybody to breathe through your nose and feel the love that the air is providing you. It's going through your lungs. That's pure love. It's pure energy. It's pure bliss fueling your body, going through your body, into your nose, into your lungs. Relax into your body. Understand how much your body loves you right now. It's doing everything in its power to keep you at its optimal level. Your lungs, your muscles, your tendons, your joints, they're here for you to thrive. They're telling you they love you. You tell them you love them back. Relax in the perfection that you are and the health that you are, with the knowing that nothing can ever take that away from you. Just relax and feel the love of your pure existence. And whenever you're ready, you can come back.
Rick, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up. Rick, thank you very much for joining us. You're a true inspiration to so many people on this journey to really find who they truly are and
That's
have
my
the
honor.
free will to choose. So thank you for
Yeah.
coming on this program.
Yeah, I'm so, so, so grateful. And remember, guys, if you want to share your story with us so we can like motivate the world, you're so welcome to be here, just like Rick. Or maybe if you're like going through something and you need a little bit of like clarity that we can help you with, you can join us in this channel, because this is our love project that we want to keep growing for all of us. So I also want to remind you guys that Rick is working on also sharing all this love and all his wisdom, and he's creating a program. I will be providing the link down below. And as soon as he sends it to me, and when he starts his YouTube channel, which is right now in the works, this is his first episode basically of his YouTube. And Ray, anything you want to share, Rick, about the program that you're creating?
Just real quickly, I was thinking of ways that I could hold myself accountable, and I created a 60-day course. I'm in the process of creating a 60-day daily lesson based on Neville Goddard's teaching, Joseph Murphy, Elizabeth Scoville Shin. I mean, so these kind of thought leaders in this thing. So I've created a 60-day course. Every day is going to have a lesson. It's going to have a task to do. It's going to have a SATs that can do continually over the 60 days. And so that's what I'm going to be finishing and getting out there probably in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Take it away, Mitch.
Yeah, I'll send this out by saying, I am perfect health. I am someone that knows what the truth is, and certainly transcending that from things that are illusory is something that you know who you truly are. And yourself in this improves your self-image. This eliminates dis-ease, and it truly makes you unstoppable and sheer power. You're the only source of all of your health. You're the only source of all of your well-being. Your self-image is truly the meaning that you're giving to what you prefer. And people like Rick and people like you can transcend that, certainly, by knowing your powers within and always looking from that love within, because that's the only reality. Anything else is not really true. So on that note, I am Mitch.
I am Stephania.
And I'm Rick. Thank you.
I love you
And
guys.
love you guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.